Hello, friends. Sophia Lucia Parola here with Garden State Film Festival. This year is our 23rd year. We are back in Asbury Park, New Jersey and Cranford, New Jersey, March 27th through March 30th. You can check out our lineup on gsff.org, as well as get any of those tickets, weekend passes, parkway passes, individual ticket passes. You'll see it all on that. And one of the films you can check out at Garden State Film Festival this year is this beautiful homegrown college short called Disoriented. Here to talk with us about the film is not her film. Well, okay, this is a great introduction I'm doing. Maura Garnett, writer, director of her film Disoriented. Maura, hello. I'm so sorry
Right?
about that introduction.
No worries. Glad to be here.
Congratulations. Yes, it's so great. I get to talk to you today. The film, I was telling her before we started, it is gorgeous. It made me cry, and I love films that make me cry. I love to cry.
Makes me
So
happy.
yeah, good, good. I'm glad. I'm really excited to talk to you about it. But before we get into it, can you tell us a little bit about Disoriented, what audiences will see?
Yeah, so Disoriented is a short film about 5 minutes, 5 to 6 minutes, about three individuals who get a phone call that forever alter their lives.
Mm,
Yeah.
yes, what a pitch. That's all you need to know. The film will do the rest. Maura, what was the inspiration? Like, what a
Yeah.
amazing, unique idea, like connecting these stories all with like phones.
Yeah, I actually wrote this as my college thesis. So I was sort of in like a writing group and I was like, I feel like I get the worst news at like horrible times. There's never a convenient time to get bad news. And I sort of like talked to my classmates and other writers and was like, I want to make this my thesis. I want to talk about those most uncomfortable situations you could be in to get this phone call. So I sort of came up with like 10 to 15 horrible places and bad news that you could get. I mean, like ranked the top three that would pull like on those emotional strings and create this discomfort. So, and then I went for it and I wanted to go sort of for a piece in the 90s, early 90s, because I wanted something a little bit more detached from current day. So when
Mhm.
you got this news, you couldn't just like Google symptoms for maybe, an illness or look
Um,
something up. I really wanted each character to live in that moment of the bad news. So I
ooh.
got to make a period piece as well, which was really exciting.
Oh, and I love that. And I didn't even clock because with the phones too, now
Yeah,
that
no cell phones.
wow. And I was wondering like what kind of came first? Was it these characters? Because they're all such well-rounded characters and they all have these storylines in themselves and a whole life. And or was it, the actual idea of this like phone that kind of, is the thing that's the
Yeah.
transition. But
It
what's the idea?
Yeah, it was sort of the idea of each
Mm.
person and situations, and then it was also fun because then I got to pick a phone that I felt like felt each character based on, like, the
Mm.
color and location, and I want them to be all tied in together, and I felt like the phone was the best way to do it. So then
Wow.
when all those phone calls are coming in, you sort of have to piece together who's getting what rather
Yeah.
than it just being in your face. I want a little bit of confusion in there as well because that's
Mhm.
what's happening to the actors, when they're getting that news. Ignore my cat jumping in the background.
Yeah, no, please, my cat's somewhere hiding. I love that. I love that so much. And I was confused and then I
Yeah.
was like crushed and it was so good. So talk to me about the cast and crew. You said you wrote this for your
Mhm.
thesis. Talk to me about the other people that were involved in this project.
Yeah. My cast was amazing. I shot this the summer of 2023 and literally was the week of the SAG strike. So I
Mhm.
had this cast. I sort of have a career in casting as well. That's what I do as my full-time 9 to 5. So it was really exciting to work on this and sort of pull all these actors that I already knew and branch out and meet some new ones as well. So I did auditions. And then the week of the SAG strike, I actually had one of my leads had a pull out because he was sort of confused on what those rules allowed, which is completely
Mhm.
understandable. And as it was a student like micro budget film, we were able to shoot, thank goodness. And my really good friend Jake was able to step in for one of the roles, and he did such a great job. But he did that last minute, and it was really about working. With who I knew in the last moment to pull this film together. And I was really glad I had this connection with him already. And I'd cast in
Mhm.
other projects. Ricky, the woman who works at the spa, I've also worked with her on sort of like different exercises, acting wise. We never really shot anything together, but I knew could give me this really vulnerability on set and open herself up and really give me her all, which I
Mhm.
needed with an actress that I was comfortable with. I
Mhm.
didn't want to sort of pull a stranger, and I wanted to be like, look, this is just me and you. Let's have this moment. And she was able to do that for me. And then Petra, the mother in the film, I just met her for this, and she came into auditions, and there's a birthday cake in that scene, and she brought in a little container of cream cheese and candles and started lighting them and singing happy
Oh,
birthday, and I was like, "This is the person that I want,"
oh,
um, that dedication. So when the 3 of them really came together, I was like, "Okay, this is it." Like, I trust all of them so much, and they did such beautiful performances, and I was able to also work with a lot of close friends of mine on this as it was our thesis year. So it was a really heartwarming set to be on despite the subject matter being all upsetting. But no, that was such a great time.
it sounds it, and that
Yeah,
makes sense that you work as a casting director too on your 9 to 5 because you cast some, phenomenal actors.
thank you.
What and so the crew were other students as well in the school?
Yeah, some of them were students and other ones were friends that I had made throughout college. My DP was my friend Veronica, and we've worked together on every film. But she doesn't go to school anymore for film. She got a job with Ari, so she was able to get us some equipment as well, which was really great. But we're sort of a power duo that works together, so she was able to come back for this, as well as my AD and my editor were sort of also a group where I AD her films, our editors
Mhm.
shared. So it's such a great connection because not only are they your friends, but they're really honest with you, where they're like, something needs to change, or I know you can do better. They can do better. Sort of having the team
Mhm.
push me.
Mm.
So yeah, it was a lot of just friends and crew, people that I've just worked with in the past. But I want us all to be comfortable because it was
Yeah.
really hard scenes to film, and I didn't want anyone to be uncomfortable on set
Mhm.
because we had to be up close and personal with each and every person
Mhm.
on set.
That brings me to my, like, next question. I wanted to know what was important to for you as a director, especially when directing these. I mean, I can imagine filming it, it's we're only seeing it's what, a 7-minute film or a short
Yeah,
film to begin with. Each of these individual lives and those scenes that they have are not the longest, right? But there's so
yeah,
much going on in them. It's
yeah.
very complex, and especially because it's one-sided, we don't really see the other side of the phone call. So, what was important for you as a director? Like, how did you work with these actors? How did you create that environment?
Yeah. A lot of it was really talking about them and their personal connection to the script as well as mine. I feel like each one was really able to open up to me and be like, "Hey, this is sort of how I can relate to it." And I was like, "Yeah, same. Like I have these experiences." And even as I screen this film, people in the audience go up and they're like, "This reminds me of when I got this news." So it felt like
Yeah.
a really universal thing that each actor was able to dive into. And sort of when we were on set, I was like, "Look, I want to be up close and personal. I want these close-up shots of you. I want shots of your hand on the phone. Like every little detail matters because we're not seeing the
Mhm.
person on the other side. We want to see your body's reaction. And we're not seeing you after the phone call that much. So you really have to sell us in these like short
Mhm.
little scenes." And they really delivered. And also I made sure that the set was extremely professional. And when they were having those scenes, I was like, all right, who doesn't need to be on set? Let's get them off. Just because I was like, I want to really connect with my actors so they can sort of reach that point and relive these little dark moments in their life that help them get to where the character needs to be. So
Mm.
yeah, their
I love
performance
that.
was like, yeah, my main thing. I wanted them to be comfortable being able to, dive into their real life experiences.
Yeah, and I love that each detail matters, like the phone and how your body reacts to it in every single moment. Because you see that in this film.
Yeah.
All the shifts. So good. Okay, I need to stop saying how much good this is, okay? Because I'm picking favorites now. Maura, you obviously have a long career ahead of you, but you've done a lot in your past. What have you learned so far in making films throughout your school experience and just making Disoriented? What are some things you're going to bring with you to your next projects?
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's a tough one. I mean,
Yeah, I
I've
know we can't
learned
cover it all, but like few of the important things.
so much. I think it's really learning to communicate well with people and set deadlines. And I feel like each day it's important to work towards your film and your goal, whether it's something small, whether it's reading it again or talking to your actors. Because I feel like when you step away, sometimes it can be helpful in the editing process, but when you're in pre-production, be fully in, embrace it, and you can never be too prepared. I feel like I always have plan A, B, and C always in my back pocket, and also working with people close to you and using your connections. I shot a scene from this movie in my mom's boyfriend's house, and it was just so personal to be able to bring people back to my hometown and shoot that and use my connections, which one saved our budget a lot, but also they were glad to do it and they felt like they were part of something bigger. So sort of finding ways to involve people in your community and help them feel like they're a part of something as well is something that I will always try and do. moving
Yes.
forward, taking
Yes. And
advantage of whatever you can. Yeah.
I totally agree with every single one of those points. And speaking of things you're going to try to do, what are some of the stories you like to tell? Like I could see a little bit about, just from Disoriented, but is this something you've told before? Do you like to tell, stories like this?
Yeah, I love really directing and working with actors and telling stories I feel like that aren't told as often that we all sort of go through. And I've told stories in the past sort of about, the struggle of being alone in a big city, or like I've done a story on like date rape drugs and how like that culture is insane in New York City, especially as a
Mhm.
young woman. And I like to tell these type of stories that are a bit hard to watch, but in the end you feel a little bit empowered and you don't feel as alone in the world.
Mm.
Um, and I feel like this was really such a great outlet for that because I got to play with 3 different characters rather than just having one main character. So we shot this in 3 days. So each day I was coming into a different set with different actors. Um, and, it was a fun little experiment, which,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I was so
Each
glad.
day you got to do like that. Oh, that's really like a film
Yeah,
a day, basically, and then putting them
it
all
was
together.
a film a day. The actors never met till the premiere. I was like, "Look, you
Wow.
guys made a beautiful story together and you never even met before now."
That sounds so fun. As an actor, I
Yeah.
would love that. That's so cool, Maura. And my last question for you is how you heard you're from it's homegrown. This is a homegrown
Yeah.
film. So you know Jersey. How's it feel to have Disoriented screening at the 23rd annual Garden State
Oh
Film
my
Festival?
gosh, it's amazing, especially in Asbury Park. That's, like, my
Yeah.
favorite place to be in the summer. It's honestly, I feel like a home for so many artists, and it feels really great to be going. It's like a hometown show, and I feel like, "Oh, my family's coming, already got their tickets," so
Great.
I'm really excited to celebrate with them and other people from my hometown.
I love that.
It's gonna be great.
Yes, it will. Let me tell everyone watching how you can see Disoriented because I really want you guys to come see it. You can obviously see our lineup, get any other tickets at gsff.org. And if you want to see Disoriented, come Sunday, March 30th at the Berkeley Hotel Continental Room. The film block is 3 p.m. to 4:45 p.m. Maura's going to be there. Hopefully some of the cast and crew, your family's going to
Oh,
be there. Come meet everybody. Maura, congratulations again. And thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to us and for making Disoriented.
of course, thank you so much, Sophia.
My pleasure. It was nice meeting you, and I'll see you at the festival.
You too. Bye.
Bye.